In today's video, I am going to be breaking down Dejounte Murray and how he shoots the basketball. He is a very good and high percentage three-point shooter in the NBA, so let's get down, let's check him out, and of course, some tips that you can use how you can shoot the basketball better yourself. So let's get down and let's check out Dejounte Murray. Okay, so let's take a look at this first clip, and the first thing that I really want to show you is something that a lot of coaches will say not to do. If we look at his feet, they are roughly shoulder width apart. His left foot is slightly past his shoulders, so they are a bit wider than his shoulders. Most coaches will say to have your feet shoulder width apart. Next is his knees. He actually brings his knees together. Most good NBA three-point shooters will bring their knees together. It's actually quite interesting. Myself, I don't shoot with my knees together. I was always taught not to do this because it could cause injuries, and I understand why trainers will say that. However, this is actually kind of interesting how a lot of NBA players do shoot like this. Next, if we actually look at his ability to be able to get his shoulder and elbow in line with the rim, that's absolutely massive. By having that elbow and shoulder in line with the rim with the ball over top of, in this case, his shoulder, but some players it can be the upper arm, this creates the shooting triangle, which will allow for a straight shot as long as he has a straight release. However, something else is the fact that he has a very high set point. If we actually watch his set point right here, it's above his forehead. And then when he releases off of those two fingers, his pointer and middle finger last. He has zero thumb flick as well. And in this case, he releases nice and straight with a somewhat soft or hard release. So usually a hard release is when you go and release and it's basically at a 45-degree angle down. Here he has almost like a 90-degree release, so it's not exactly a hard release, but it isn't soft either. And what I mean by that is a soft release is like Curry, where his hand is curved like this. A curved release or a soft release will give you more arc on the ball. A hard release will give you more backwards rotation on the ball, which will allow it to land on the rim much softer. This gives kind of a nice medium to the two so that you get some arc, but also a good amount of backspin as well. He also releases with his elbow well above his forehead. You generally want to have about a 45-degree angle off of the shoulder. However, here we are looking at roughly only 20 to 25 degrees, which means that this is going to have a very high arc, but it's also extremely hard to block, as we can see right here. This allows for a good amount of rotation, but if we actually look at where it hits the rim and its downward motion, it's about 50 to 60 degrees depending on the clip and the shot that we look at. You generally want to be between 42 roughly and 45 degrees because if that ball comes down too steep, the gravity when it hits the rim is going to make it bounce out. However, at a good 40 to 45 degrees, what it's going to do is it's going to allow it to hit the rim and hit it softly. While if it comes in too shallow, that rim is going to look really small to the ball, so it's actually a smaller target that you're hitting if you shoot with less arc. We can also see that when he goes for this shot, his shoulders, hips, knees, and feet are all pointing the same way. This is what allows his arm to be in line with the rim, but if he was to have just a part of his body off, let's say his knees, this would throw everything else off and he would have an inconsistent shot. So while his arm and follow through is going to be towards the rim, his body is slightly tilted away from the rim. The rim is over here, but his body is tilted towards the baseline. This is what's going to allow him to be able to have a straight shot because everything that you need to do has to be to get that shoulder, elbow, and ball in the shooting triangle and in line with the rim. If the ball is too far left or right, that's going to push that ball left or right of the rim. And then obviously we want to look at footwork as well. And right here, he plants that right foot and brings that left foot down. While he's tilted away from the basket, his shoulder and elbow are still in line, as I was mentioning earlier. He also has a slight tilt away from the rim. his feet flow forward and his shoulders flow back. Again, something that a lot of older school coaches teach not to do, but if you look at yourself as a pendulum in a way, and if your feet go forward and your shoulders go back, this will allow you to have just a bit more strength onto your shot. And as long as your upper body moves the same distance back as your feet do forward, and it's not more than a couple of inches, this will actually give you more stability in the air, but also give you more power as well. This is why he's able to hit all these shots in game. I hope that these tips help you shoot the basketball better. Make sure to go check out my hardest basketball shooting workout that is down in the description below, because that's going to help you shoot from a lot further away. But also, if you like this app that I'm using where I can draw on top of the video, make sure to go check out CoachLens, that is down in the description below, and you get 10% off with my link.